And hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host, Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for today's episode of Andor, Season 1, Episode 8. Now, if you're not caught up to Andor, big spoilers ahead, so you've been warned. So, last week's episode was pretty interesting when we saw Cassian. He's trying to be on the run. He's trying to find a place to hide. He's got his money. He's trying to get his mom to come with him. She didn't want to go because he thinks about her staying helps the rebellion, push the empire even, further back as you speak. So he decides to leave. He does his thing. He ends up in some kind of tropical paradise place. It literally looks like a tropical paradise, like one of those Disney resorts. It literally does look like that. He ends up there, and then he tries to go to the store, mind his own business. He's in the sand, trying to get some drinks or whatever. He's trying to impress his lady, and he gets busted. For what? Not sure. He just gets busted, and he gets locked up in prison. And that's exactly what happens. And now in this episode, we get to see Cassian literally in that prison. It looks like a factory kind of place. It kind of reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy, where, the crew, Drax, Star-Lord, all of them, they all end up meeting up, except it's more cleaner and a lot brighter. Literally, they got sensors on the floor, so if if it's red, a certain color, which is red, it would basically fry you until you're dead. And then, you have these guards that have these machines that can shock you and put you on the ground. They don't wear anything. They don't wear shoes. They don't wear any kind of, device that will keep their feet to the ground. They just got like these pressure plates on the floor that will light up if, they try to escape or disobey or whatever. So Cassie now has to just play along. We get some cameos in here that's pretty cool. We get Andy Serkis in here, which was kind of cool. He plays like, he's a prisoner of his own self, but he's kind of like, okay, I have enough leeway in this prison. I've been paying my dues. If I become like a leader and keep these new guys in line, I get my sentence shorter kind of person. So he's one of those guys who tells Cassie and everybody else what to do. Keep your heads down, do what you got to do, and you'll be out of here soon enough. So that's basically what Cassian has to do. He's got to help build these machines every single day, no matter what. Can't hold up the assembly line, and he's just got to keep doing it. While that's going on, you have his friend, his close friend. She's now being hunted down by the investigators who are still looking for Cassian, who don't even realize that they kind of already have him captured already, and he's locked up under a false name. So they're looking for her to try to get information. And then we meet a new woman who comes out of nowhere looking for him. Could be his sister, but I'm not really sure about that. I would assume it is a sister, but we didn't get too much information except that she's a lesbian. Her and her girlfriend were together, and then we had to separate. So she could be his sister, but nothing yet. So we have to wait to see what happens with the next episode. If there's a next episode, I'm not really sure how many episodes actually are for this season. But anyway, and then of course we get Skarsgård. He shows up on some planets to meet up with Forrest Whitaker's character from Rogue One. So that's cool to see Forrest Whitaker come back in Star Wars again. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. They're all still looking for Cassian. They're trying to figure out where he's at. They don't have no idea. They even try to get out a signal to him to see that he can reach it. But since he's locked up in prison, he's got his own problems being locked up in prison. Yeah, he ain't gonna get him that message. But yeah, this was a pretty interesting episode. Like I said, it gave me that whole Guardians of the Galaxy prison scene vibes with Cassian being locked up. Very clean for a prison, Normally prisons are not exactly, squeaky clean, but this one was all just pure white. It kind of reminded me of just like a white hallway that just keeps going on and on and on forever. And that's exactly what this is. They got a small little bed. They get meals. but they keep their strength up, which is surprisingly that they get actually food. I guess because they want them to continue assembling these machineries that they're doing. So that's very interesting. But yeah, and now that his friends got captured to get information about where he's at, even though, like I said before, the Empire and the the Imperial officers have no idea that they already have him locked up in jail. So it is kind of ironic. When I wonder if they're gonna find out. Oh, we already have him in jail. Remember, he's using a false name. So once they find out who he, once the prison finds out who he really is, Cassian's gonna be in a big mess of trouble. So hopefully he gets out of it sooner rather than later. Even though we already know he's gonna get out of it because we know where he ends up in Rebels and Rogue One. Sorry, but yeah, that was a pretty interesting episode. Like I said, I don't know how many episodes are left. This was the last episode for the season. Interesting way to end it, but if it continues, I'm looking forward to next week's episode. But until then, we'll see what happens. I'm starting to like the fact that it's picking up even more and the story's getting more engaging. Like I said, if you never seen this and you gave up on the first episode, that's cool. None of the Star Wars stories are all supposed to be shoot, laser swords on flying ships kind of story. This Star Wars universe is supposed to capture the character development of all these characters and where they end up leading up to them in our old favorite movies, from Star Wars. So if they have to keep doing like this, I'm all for it. It kind of got that Game of Thrones vibe without the whole, violence and sleeping with your relatives and you know what I mean about Game of Thrones. So yeah, so the drama of this show is very, very good, and I really am liking it, especially now that it's really picking up. So man, I want to see more. I need to see more. I really hope this is not the last episode of the season, because like I said before, I have no idea how many episodes are left of the season. If this was the last episode of the season, man, really gives you cravings for more, but we have to wait and see. So leave a comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much and have a good day.